The average person touches their phone 2,617 times per day. Right now, as you're watching this video, you probably have at least 3 other tabs open, 2 messaging apps running, and your phone face up beside you. In the time it takes to finish this sentence, millions of notifications worldwide will fight for human attention. We are living in the middle of an invisible war, a war for our attention, and we are losing. A recent Microsoft study revealed that the human attention span has dropped from 12 seconds to 8 seconds since the rise of smartphones. That's less than a goldfish. But here's what's fascinating. This isn't just about productivity. A 2023 study from Harvard Medical School found that constant digital interruptions are fundamentally rewiring our brains, changing how we think, feel, and interact with the world around us. Today, we are diving deep into the science of digital distractions, and more importantly, discovering proven strategies to reclaim our focus in this hyper-connected world. This isn't about digital abstinence, it's about digital intelligence. Think about your last productive workday. According to a 2023 workplace study by Rescue Time, the average knowledge worker switches between different apps and websites 373 times per day. That's once every 2 minutes. We are not just multitasking, we are microtasking, fragmenting our attention into increasingly smaller pieces. Let's look at what's actually happening in your brain during these constant switches. Neuroscientists at Stanford found that every time you switch tasks, your brain uses 2 processes: goal shifting, deciding to do something else, and rule activation, changing how you will do it. Each switch depletes your cognitive resources. It's like having hundreds of tiny power drains on your mental battery throughout the day. But here's where it gets really interesting. A 2023 study from University College London revealed something surprising. It's not just the interruptions that are the problem, it is the anticipation of interruptions. Just knowing that we might get a notification creates a state of continuous partial attention. Your brain never fully commits to the present moment because it's always partially waiting for the next ping. The cost. A UC Irvine study found that it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully regain focus after a digital interruption. Do the math. With hundreds of interruptions per day, we are spending more time trying to refocus than actually focusing. This isn't just affecting our work. Research from the University of Michigan shows that increased screen time correlates with decreased empathy. We are becoming less able to read facial expressions, understand emotional nuances, and connect deeply with others. The very tools designed to connect us might be making us less connected on a human level. But before we go further, let's be clear about something. This isn't an anti-technology manifesto. The digital world isn't going anywhere, nor should it. The goal isn't to abandon our devices. It's to use them intentionally to make technology work for us rather than the other way around. Let's look at some fascinating experiments in digital wellness. Microsoft Japan tested a 4-day work week with strict digital boundaries. The result? Productivity jumped by 40%. But here's the key insight. It wasn't just about working less, it was about working differently. They implemented strict rules about digital communication, limiting meetings to 30 minutes and encouraging face-to-face conversations over digital ones. Google's internal research team discovered something similar in their digital well-being experiments. They found that simple changes in how apps notify us can dramatically affect our behavior. When they made notifications black and white instead of colored, user engagement dropped by 18%. Color, it turns out, plays a huge role in keeping us hooked. But let's get practical. What can we learn from the latest research on digital distraction? Here are some evidence-based strategies that have been proven to work. The focus block protocol, based on research from the Pomodoro technique and enhanced by modern neuroscience, this approach suggests working in 52-minute focused blocks followed by 17-minute breaks. Why these specific numbers? They align with our brain's natural rhythm of attention and recovery. The digital sunset. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that exposing ourselves to blue light from screens within 2 hours of bedtime can disrupt our sleep patterns by up to 3 hours. The solution? A digital sunset, a gradual powering down of devices as the day ends. Participants in the study who implemented this showed a 42% improvement in sleep quality. Notification batching. Instead of receiving notifications in real time, batch them into scheduled checks. A study from the University of California showed that people who check their emails 3 times a day versus continuously experienced significantly less stress and maintain the same level of responsiveness. But perhaps the most powerful insight comes from a 2023 study on what researchers call attention residue. Every time you check a notification, even if you don't respond to it, your brain creates a cognitive bookmark. A small part of your attention stays focused on that unfinished task. The solution? The 2-touch rule. Either deal with something immediately or schedule a specific time to handle it. No in between. Let's talk about social media, which deserves special attention. Instagram's own research revealed that the average user spends 53 minutes per day on their platform. That's nearly 13 days a year. But it's not just about the time. It's about the psychological impact. A 2023 study from the Royal Society of Mental Health found that social media platforms are specifically designed to trigger what neuroscientists call the variable reward mechanism, the same psychological trigger that makes slot machines addictive. So how do we break free? The answer isn't deletion, it's deliberate use. Research from the Digital Wellness Institute shows that people who use social media intentionally, scheduled times, specific purposes, report 31% higher satisfaction with their digital lives than those who use it reactively. Here's a practical framework based on their findings. The 3M method. Meaning, define the specific value you want to get from each platform. Measure, track your actual usage versus intended usage. Modify, adjust your environment to support your goals. For example, instead of mindlessly scrolling Instagram, decide that you will use it for 15 minutes to engage with specific content creators or friends. Use app timers to enforce these boundaries. But what about work? In our hyper-connected professional world, digital detox might seem impossible. Yet, companies like Basecamp have found that implementing library rules, quiet hours where no digital communication is allowed, increased employee productivity by 35%. They are not alone. Companies implementing similar policies report reduced stress levels and increased creative output. The key is creating what psychologists call cognitive sanctuaries, spaces and times where your brain knows it won't be interrupted. This could be as simple as turning your phone face down during focused work or as structured as having device-free hours each day. Let's address a common concern: FOMO, fear of missing out. Research shows that FOMO isn't actually about missing information. It's about missing connection. When we understand this, we can address the root cause rather than the symptom. Instead of constantly checking social media, schedule regular check-ins with friends and family. As we wrap up, remember this: the goal of digital detox isn't to disconnect completely, it's to connect intentionally. Use technology as a tool rather than letting it use you. And speaking of intentional change, if you found these strategies helpful, you'll want to check out our previous video on Transform Your 2025. Turn resolutions into reality. The principles of intentional change we discussed there pair perfectly with creating healthier digital habits. You can find the link in the description below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Though, maybe schedule specific times to check those notifications. Thanks for watching Elevate with Salman. Until next time, remember, your attention is your most valuable resource. Invest it wisely.